So the world's most expensive house, the 141 million Bel Air Mega Mansion's electric bill reaches $50,000 a month. Now here's the thing. If you're going to be buying like a mega mansion like this, obviously you could probably afford the electric bill. My only thing, right, is like, can you imagine spending $50,000 a month just to keep the electricity running inside your house? Like, that just seems so crazy to me, right? And I really don't understand like the reasoning why like super wealthy individuals go down the route of buying homes like this, because the majority of the time when these super rich people buy these types of mega mansions, they never actually live in them, which is a crazy thing. So the most expensive home ever bought is a 105,000 square foot California mansion in the hills of Bel Air, whose electric bill can reach up to $50,000 a month, according to a report. The $141 million home, known as The One, which is considered the largest modern home in the country, would need considerable amounts of energy to cool it down during the intense heat waves that have gripped Southern California in recent weeks. Lawrence Castillo, the president of air conditioning company Berardi Peno, told the Los Angeles Times that an electric bill at the home would be around $50,000 when operating at full capacity. Castillo based his estimate on the fact that the mega mansion at 944 Arrow Way includes a pantry, a bowling alley, a movie theater, a candy room, a 4,000 square foot guest house, a sky deck with cabanas, a nightclub, and a full service beauty salon and spa. In total, the residence has 21 bedrooms and 42 full bathrooms. According to the LA Times, a court appointed receiver who was tasked with finding a buyer for the home estimated that the monthly electric bill was $27,000 at the time. There was air conditioning for just one level of the house. Castillo told the LA Times he would estimate that a home the size of the one would need around 50 HVAC systems. Like, here's the thing, right? Like, this is the biggest thing to me, right? Like, at this point, if you were to buy a home like this, you're basically buying a business. You're not just buying a home. You are buying like a full-fledged business because you needed basically employees to simply have this thing able to run. Like 50 HVAC systems? What a massive pain in the butt to deal with. So in theory, a 100,000 square foot home would have the same energy bill as 40 2,500 square foot homes, he said. That's two city blocks worth of houses to cool one property. Not only does the person residing in the home need to consider air conditioning, but there's also the energy needed to power the various appliances and machines, including the pool filters and pumps, the water fountains, the elevators, and the refrigerators. I gotta be honest, if I were to ever be in a position where I could buy a property like this, I wouldn't do it because the amount of anxiety that I would end up having by simply worrying about the upkeep of this property would probably be the death of me. Like, I would probably just pass away from having to deal with the absolute nonsense of this property. So, California is emerging from a torrid summer that saw extensive heat waves, which prompted the state government to urge its residents to cut back on the use of electricity for fear it would exhaust the power grid. And California Governor Gavin Newsom took to Twitter earlier this month and asked residents to save energy while he wore a fleece coat in what appeared to be an air conditioned room, prompting charges of hypocrisy. Our energy grid is being pushed to its max. The risk of outages is real. We need everyone to double down to save energy after 4 p.m. today, Newsom said. And in March, Richard Sagan, the founder of retail company Fashion Nova, placed a $141 million bid for the home, which was approved by a U.S. bankruptcy court judge. So Sagan snatched up the home at half of its listing price of $295 million. I just think it's crazy. I mean, again, personally, you have to really ask yourself, what are you wanting to do with your money in your life, right? Like, are you wanting to spend your money on getting bigger and bigger homes and bigger cars and all that kind of stuff? You might end up going down the route of this one, where you buy a mega mansion like this, if you were to ever get into the position to do it. But to me, I kind of see this as like, what's the point? Like, what is the point of making so much money just so that you have to deal with the hassle of basically buying a business for a property to keep it running, and you may or may not even ever step foot into that property. And a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of mega mansions in the tune of basically mansions that basically cost more than $20 million, a lot of those owners never actually spend time in those properties. A lot of them just buy the properties basically as like an investment, basically. So, I don't know. If I had $141 million, I definitely wouldn't be spending that money on a mega mansion. I'd definitely buy a really nice house. I mean, but the thing is, like, how much house do you need? How much land do you need? How many cars do you need? I mean, there's only 7 days in a week. There's only 24 hours in a day, right? Like, how many people do you even really want to spend time with, too? It's like, all of it just seems like one big headache and hassle, right? Like, I just don't understand personally why people with this type of money would spend money on things and not really enjoy it, but more so end up having to just deal with it. Like, they're just having to deal with the hassle of owning this property. They're having to deal with the hassle of basically hiring people to take care of this property so that it can actually function well enough to when they do end up actually going there, they could actually enjoy it, right? Instead of just like showing up whenever and be like, oh yeah, this is my place. No, you gotta like have systems in place so that everything is kept up, right? Like, I don't know what the running cost of this property would be if like you didn't really have to spend too much electricity on it, like if it wasn't going full blast. But it seems like this would be just a lot to deal with.